The phone screen glowed in the dark, its light carving shadows across my knuckles. It was 2:17 a.m., and the words on the screen burned into my skull. I'm pregnant. I don't know what to do. I miss you. Sent to him. Not me. My thumb hovered over the block button, trembling as my chest tightened like a vice. I read it once, then pressed down. The chat vanished. So did the last shred of trust I clung to for months. It started with a single sentence, 6 months earlier, over a quiet dinner. The kind of dinner where the clink of forks on plates feels louder than it should. Sarah sat across from me, her eyes fixed on her wine glass, swirling it slowly like she was trying to summon courage from the Merlot. I still think about him sometimes, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. My fork froze midair. Him, Daniel, her ex, the one she swore was ancient history, a chapter closed long before our vows. I forced a smile, the kind that hurts your face, and said, That's normal, right? Old memories linger. But the air in the room shifted, grew heavy, like the moment before a storm breaks. I didn't ask more. I should have. Instead, I let her words sink into cracks in my mind, where they festered. Sarah and I had been married 3 years, together for 5. We'd built a life. Our small apartment with its mismatched furniture, the dog we'd adopted on a whim, the plans for a family we'd whispered about in the dark. She was my anchor, the one who laughed at my terrible puns, who knew the exact way I took my coffee. But that night, her confession cracked something in me. Not a clean break, but a hairline fracture, the kind that spreads if you don't brace it. Over the weeks, I noticed things, small things at first. The way her phone stayed face down on the table, always within reach. How she'd pause before answering when I asked about her day, her eyes flickering like she was editing her thoughts. I told myself I was paranoid. People think about their exes sometimes. It didn't mean anything. But then there were the late-night texts she'd send when she thought I was asleep, her fingers tapping softly, the glow of her screen illuminating her face in the dark. I'd lie there, pretending to sleep, counting the seconds between her replies, wondering who was on the other end. I tried to talk to her. God, I tried. One evening, as rain tapped against our window, I sat her down on our worn-out couch. The dog, Milo, curled up between us, oblivious to the tension. Sarah, I said, my voice steady but my hands clammy, is there something you're not telling me? She looked at me, her brown eyes wide, almost wounded. What are you talking about, Ben? She asked, her tone sharp, like I'd accused her of something unthinkable. I backpedaled, mumbled something about wanting to check in, and let it drop. Her defensiveness lingered in my gut like bad wine. The signs grew harder to ignore. A receipt for a coffee shop she never mentioned, tucked in her coat pocket. A new perfume, sharp and floral, that she wore only on days she went out with friends. The way she laughed too quickly when I asked about her plans, brushing off with a vague, oh, just catching up with people. I started checking her phone when she showered, hating myself for it. Nothing concrete, just cryptic messages to D that could mean anything or nothing. Missed you today. Can we talk soon? My mind spun excuses for her. Maybe D was a co-worker, a friend. Not him. Not Daniel. But doubt is a slow poison. It seeped into every moment. When we made love, I wondered if she was thinking of him. When she smiled at me, I searched for guilt in her eyes. I stopped sleeping properly, my dreams jagged with images of her slipping away. I'd wake up to find her staring at the ceiling, her expression distant, like she was somewhere I couldn't follow. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, but fear kept me quiet. What if I was wrong? What if I broke us for nothing? Then came the night that shattered everything. I'd been out late, a work dinner that dragged on too long. I came home to find Sarah asleep on the couch, her phone unlocked beside her. I don't know why I picked it up. Maybe I was tired of wondering. Maybe I just needed to know. The message was there, staring at me. I'm pregnant. I don't know what to do. I miss you. Sent to Daniel. Time stamped an hour ago. My vision blurred, my pulse hammering in my ears. Pregnant. Not with me. We'd been careful, hadn't we? I scrolled up, my hand shaking, and saw months of messages. Late-night confessions, plans to meet, promises to figure this out together. Each word was a blade, slicing through the life I thought we had. I didn't wake her. I couldn't. I stood there, staring at her sleeping face, her lips slightly parted, her hair spilling over the cushion. She looked so peaceful, so much like the woman I loved. But she wasn't. Not anymore. I blocked his number from her phone, my thumb pressing harder than it needed to, as if I could erase him from her life. Then I walked to our bedroom, shut the door, and sat on the edge of the bed, the silence screaming in my ears. The next morning, Sarah was different. She moved through our routine like a ghost, her eyes avoiding mine. She didn't mention the pregnancy, and I didn't ask. I couldn't. The words were trapped in my throat, choking me. I watched her pour coffee, her hand steady, and wonder how she could act so normal when everything was broken. "You okay?" she asked, her voice soft, like she was the one worried about me. I nodded, my jaw tight, and left for work early. Days passed in a haze. I didn't confront her. I didn't know how. Instead, I replayed every moment of our marriage, searching for the point where it went wrong. Was it when she first mentioned him? Before that? Had she ever really been mine? I stopped checking her phone, stopped asking questions. It hurt too much. But the truth was there, in the way she'd linger by the window, staring at nothing, in the way her laughter stopped reaching her eyes. A week later, I came home to find her sitting at the kitchen table, her phone in her hands, tears streaking her face. "Ben," she said, her voice breaking, "we need to talk." I knew what was coming. I'd known since that text. But hearing it, her confession about Daniel, about the pregnancy, about the months of lies, felt like falling into ice water. She begged me to understand, said she was confused, that she loved me but couldn't let him go. I listened, numb, until she reached for my hand. I pulled away. "I'm leaving," I said, the words flat, final. Her eyes widened, but she didn't argue. Maybe she knew I was already gone. I packed a bag, left the apartment, and didn't look back. The dog whined as I closed the door, and that sound haunted me more than her tears. Now, weeks later, I'm in a cheap motel, the kind with thin walls and flickering lights. My phone buzzes with her messages, but I don't read them. I blocked her number too, eventually, not out of anger, but because I couldn't keep living in the wreckage. I loved her. I think I always will. But love isn't enough when trust is ashes. Sometimes I wonder if I should have fought harder, asked more questions, seen the signs sooner. But then I remember her text, those words to him, and I know some betrayals cut too deep to heal.